I'm 30 years old, married with a son and a full-time job. From the outside, it probably looks like I have a lot going for me. And I do. My wife and son mean everything to me. But even with that, I still feel incredibly alone sometimes. I have only about 3 genuine male friends, and honestly, it feels like I'm the only one keeping those connections alive. I'm always the one reaching out, checking in, trying to keep the friendship going. But I rarely get a message first. Nobody calls to see how I'm doing. When life gets hard or I'm just feeling off, I realize I don't really have anyone I can turn to outside of my family. I'm not asking for constant attention or anything dramatic, just real, mutual friendship. Something that feels like I matter to them as much as they matter to me. I crave deeper, more reliable connections, but it feels like most male friendships either fade out or stay shallow. It's a lonely feeling. I wonder if other men feel this way too, but just push it down because we are not really taught how to talk about these feelings. If you have been through this, how did you deal with it? Did you confront your friends? Try to make new ones? Or just learn to live with it? Story 1. I was feeling this way in my late 20s, and our friend group created a Discord server. We game and voice chat about once a week now. It goes a long way toward keeping those friendships alive. Story 2. Welcome to being an adult man, as difficult as it sometimes is. If you can count the number of friends you have on one hand, you are doing okay, whether those friendships are genuine or superficial. Final piece of advice: get a dog. It is life-changing. Good luck. Story 3. With lots of experience with this, you need a tribe with similar values. As dorky as this sounds, these are my 2 top favorite ways as a male to make friends. Jujutsu and Dungeons and Dragons. Not only have I been involved with Jujutsu for 20 years, but it also becomes a quick tribe right away because it's not only a sport that challenges you on many different levels, but you also have to work with other people. Trust builds quickly with things like submission holds, where you trust your body to someone else. You build camaraderie by going through similar challenges and helping each other out. It's fantastic. Most major areas have clubs, academies, or gyms, so search for one of them, get a free trial class, and experience it for about 3 months. The second is Dungeons and Dragons. I find that many guys who are dorky about Jujutsu also get into things like Dungeons and Dragons. If you're looking for local friends, feel free to contact local online communities to see if anyone in the area has a Dungeons and Dragons group. Alternatively, if you don't mind online friends, websites like Start Playing have thousands of groups available for you to join and be a part of. From my experience, it's an inclusive community overall that is more about fun storytelling and group dynamics. Having to work together as a team to overcome a problem or to disrupt the game master's story. All my closest friends have come from both of those categories. You start talking about other elements of your life, get together for cookouts and activities. It's fantastic. I owe my complete social life as a man to these 2 activities, which also make me feel completely comfortable in who I am and don't have to wear a metaphorical mask. I'm not sure if this will be helpful to you or if you're interested, but at least try out these communities. For anyone else struggling with male friends, these are, from my experience, some of the best I've seen. Story 4. All men have this issue, as do most adults. Meeting and making new friends as an adult is really difficult. I have one real friend who is not family. I had more when I was involved with various recreational activities, but if you are just living life, working, and supporting a family, there are not many opportunities to make new friends. Story 5. Same here, man. Most days, I do not have any friends to hang out with. It would be very lonely if I did not have my girlfriend. Story 6. Grass is greener, man. I am 30 years old. I have 5 or 6 friends I would die for. They mean the world to me, and we've been through it all. I see them all once every few months, but I see about 2 regularly. I am incredibly single with no children, and I feel so alone sometimes. The days that I see my friends are great, but having no one to come home to is killing me. So I guess pick your battles. Story 7. I can see you are getting a lot of mixed responses, so I am going to say something someone told me once. Your life is your own. If you want to spend time with other people, do not dwell on it. Just pick up the phone, tell them how you feel, and make a concerted effort because, oddly, they might feel the same. If you have lost touch or those 3 are not as close as you thought, put yourself out there. I know it is not much coming from a stranger, but if you want to chat, send me a message. Story 8. I'm almost 40 and realized around 30 that dating and making friends as an adult male takes effort. You have to put yourself out there and make an effort to be around people. Meetup is a good resource to participate in group activities you like. I joined a hiking group. I had a reliable group of friends in my 20s from high school, but they were still partying while I was getting more serious with my life approaching 30, so I faded out and basically didn't have friends for a few years. I made some friends after that training Jujutsu for a few years, but those friendships stayed in the gym. It was still my social outlet. This year, I reconnected with a couple of guys from my old friend group who have the same goals in life, and we've been hanging out more. I call them every other week to stay in touch. When you have a family and kids, it's hard to have time for active friendships, but you can still cultivate people who care about you and will be there if you need them. Story 9. Bro, you have 3 more friends than I do. For the last 25 years, I have devoted my life to my wife and children. I have no friends to talk to or spend time with. My wife and I do not even have other couples to socialize with. Honestly, I do not confront it. I just hide my loneliness and depression most of the time. Story 10. Friends are supposed to be friends. You are making the mistake of labeling them as real or otherwise. Keep your expectations low and learn to deal with the fact that at different stages of life, we spend time with different people. There is only so much space on the table to carry everyone all the time. Story 11. You mentioned you are in your 30s. Things change, people have their own families, and they honestly cannot dedicate as much time to their friends as they used to before starting families and relationships. I am 47, and I have a small circle of friends, but we do not constantly reach out to each other because we have our own lives and families. We no longer get together as a group because that is impossible. I think we have all graduated into the next phase of life where our friendships remain true but do not involve going out in groups or texting often to check in. As you mature, your friendships mature as well. We handle things differently because of this next phase of life and maturity. It is often referred to as the measure of a man. Many times, conflicts arise, but we rely on our family units to work through them. Your spouse should be your support system. That is what they are for. Outside of that, you can join a gym to relieve frustrations, cut the grass, or take the time to wash and wax your car or truck because it gives you alone time. Story 12. No advice to give beyond what others have said, but I am in the same situation. I started to joke that all of us reporting this issue should make an online group. Maybe not a bad idea, the Friendless Friends group. Story 13. I don't know, man. I committed everything to my family and neglected all friendships. Then I got divorced at 40, and now it's very lonely. I'm starting to put myself out there this year by joining a couple of sports teams to see how it goes. The last girl I really liked stopped seeing me because of my lack of a social circle. She had many friends but never felt a part of my life because I didn't have a social circle outside of her. It's foolish, but that hurt. Luckily, I'm good with women and have plenty to talk to, but they are not the same as my male friends, and I have to keep those relationships separate, if you know what I mean. This situation is hard and lonely. Story 14. I have 2 genuine friends. I suspect that one is conditional upon my marriage and would be gone if my wife left. About 3 close acquaintances. What it is what it is. Story 15. If your child is involved in activities, you will meet other families in similar situations and automatically have something in common. Then be a bit outgoing and organize something extra. Story 16. We all get there, and you are not alone. As you get older, priorities change, so it is not just you. It is what is happening with everyone in your circle. I do get to meet with friends from school once in a while, and we all make plans to meet once every month. Alas, we do not meet for the next few years. It is not that everybody hates each other, but priorities change week after week when you have a family, a job, and kids. That should keep your hands full. You must be lucky to have time to even think about why nobody is calling you anymore. But aside from that, if I narrate my story, that is exactly what you are talking about. Story 17. In the same position as you, I recently stopped messaging people. Only one person reached out to me. That is my only friend now. Those who want to be part of your life will make an effort to do so. The others can go. Also, try making new friends. Go watch a basketball game or do whatever you enjoy. You will meet new people and new friendships will emerge. Best of luck. Story 18. Start a group chat with your friends. Keeps you in communication and helps organize activities. Story 19. Start a group chat on WhatsApp or Instagram. I have about 10 of them. Lots of friends. Go to the gym and make friends there. You have to try to be social in order to make friends. Story 20. I am genuinely asking, not being condescending. Original poster. How often do you need your friend to contact you to feel like you have a connection? Most of my friends are from grade school, but as we got older, we do not converse as much. However, we still have a tightly knit bond. Story 21. I am 20 years older than you. The only time I had many friends was before I got married and while I was divorced. I am a United States Marine and used to race cars. Neither of my wives liked my friends, so I faded away into married life. I have one friend who has been my best friend for 25 years. Our wives do not like us hanging out, and they do not get along with each other. In my experience, women have been the destroyers of many relationships. It seems they have a jealous mentality about their husbands having friends. However, it is acceptable for them to have friends. The same situation happens if you have a daughter and get remarried. No woman will ever accept their stepdaughter because the jealousy factor is too high. Story 22. Thank you, everyone, for the very kind and thoughtful comments and messages. This is the most people I have had comment and message like this. Thank you all so much. It helps a little to know I am not alone in this situation. I think I need to venture out more and try to become friends with people who share similar interests or hobbies. I dislike that men are born with the stereotype of being emotionless. Story 23. Have you tried talking to your friends about it? If they do not understand or do not make the effort after you talk to them, they are not very good friends. Story 24. I'm 66 and in the same situation. The last person I could share anything with moved to a different state without telling me. I had to call him to find out he had moved. Even though I thought I had a good friend, he ended up betraying me. This is not a victim story because I had to reflect on my part in the situation to become a better person. The end result was that I finally accepted who I was, both good and bad. I also found self-love, which helped me as well. I now live with a not caring what others think attitude, meaning I am not influenced by other people's opinions, advice, or respect. I may listen to what you have to say, but I am the one making the final decision without judgment, shame, or guilt. I am much happier now. I am also married to a wonderful woman, and we have 2 children and 7 grandchildren. Story 25. I have a phrase I say to myself, forget them all. I have a lot of friends that I meet like twice every 4 years or so. We are childhood friends and only talk in group chats. Just one friend I can really count on, and for him I am truly grateful. But I am a really social guy, and I get so bummed over other people. Where I live, I don't really know that many. Other fathers in my kids' class are good guys, but it doesn't seem like they want to have another friend in their life. I have a lot of other dads on Snapchat. I snap something funny or when their kids are over, but they don't even respond. I see them opening the snap. That's weird, in my opinion. I would feel rude if I didn't at least answer with a haha or whatever. When people come to pick up their kids, everyone just calls their kid and says, I'm outside in 5 minutes. Like, dude, just ring the doorbell and shoot the shot for like 2 minutes. Our kids are best friends, and your kid is over at our house 4 times a week and eats dinner here twice a week. Story 26. I am 55, and I have a couple of people I can call true friends. We lose track of each other for months at a time, but we make time to talk every once in a while. I prefer to be alone most of the time. It is nice when we get the time to talk. Being completely honest with myself, I am the bad friend most of the time. They are usually the ones reaching out, not me. It may sound a little bitter on my part, but who needs them? Most of the people who want to be my friends want something fixed or a problem solved. They offer very little and bring nothing to the conversation. They would not be there if I needed them. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Story 27. Hi, I'm the friend who doesn't reach out. I am basically perpetually exhausted because of work, and I sometimes go through month-long periods where I don't want to talk to anyone. No friends, no family. When I have free time from work, I spend it either recovering or doing chores. That leaves me with very little time to hang out with friends, because I also need time for myself. As much as I want to reach out, I hate setting up plans because I constantly worry if my other friends will enjoy the event or activity I choose. Story 28. I just accepted I do not have time for it. The ones who do have not matured yet and are still partying and using cocaine every Friday. It was fun while it lasted. Story 29. You will be surprised at how many people come into your life through meeting other parents as your son goes through school or participates in any kind of sports. In the meantime, keep working on the 3 buds you have. Story 30. That's just how it is sometimes. You will make friends, and they may secretly try to give poor advice or hold you back in minor, petty ways because they get jealous of your personal growth and achievements. Everyone needs some friends, but at the same time, going the lone wolf route can be intoxicating, even though the loneliness can also hurt. Story 31. Similar experience. Keep pushing forward. Friends come and go. Invest in relationships that are reciprocated and make you feel fulfilled rather than people you have to keep reaching out to. Stop reaching out to them and move on. I'm in my mid-40s and have seen friends come and go. I have a few very close friends now, but it's taken mountains and valleys to get here, making tough decisions about who I'm going to keep in contact with and who I have moved on from because clearly they had no interest in trying to be friends with me in the first place. Story 32. Our society is broken. We are too siloed, isolated, and busy working or searching for work to stay connected to our roots. Story 33. 3 sounds like kind of a lot of close friends to me. My household is my day-to-day contact. I have one friend I see every week, my first-degree family once a month, and the other friends and most family once a year or less. Story 34. I don't have any great advice and I feel the same way. I'm about 10 years ahead of you. I'm quite a bit older than you, and I am really hoping this will turn around once the kids in my friend group reach around 13 years old. At that point, they will likely be more independent and able to stay home alone. Hopefully, that means we can all start getting the group back together. Story 35. Yes, I felt like this for a long time. Eventually, I confronted friends about their distance, but nothing changed much. I eventually left the friendships that were too one-sided. I think having a child puts some men off, especially those who do not have children or are not married yet. Story 36. I am 60 years old. I relocated after my divorce 10 years ago. My priorities were taking care of a very sick brother and an elderly mother. I did not seek any kind of friendships during that time, and the one person I thought was a genuine friend is now independently wealthy and just got married. It does not seem like I fit into his life anymore. After they died and some other events with my ex, I now understand what it is like to be lonely and essentially friendless. I have mourned in my own way but feel like I am in the same situation as you. You probably have the energy and skills to make new connections still. I am twice your age and feel a bit worn down. Do not end up like me. I am considering working with a life coach now because I am not adapting well. Story 37. I think this is the new normal in today's world. I am 35, have a wife and 2 kids, and everyone is so busy nowadays it is hard to make the effort to see friends. But you have to try. I think it is incredibly important to have friends and make time to see them. It is more important for our mental health than most men would be willing to admit. Story 38. Yeah, that's rough. I'm the person on the other end with a busy life who struggles to reach out. Reaching out is hard to remember. It's not that I don't care about my friends, and I'm always happy to hear from them. I'm just bad at prioritizing communication outside of my own inner circle. I think it's a common problem for many men. Fortunately, I have 2 friends who are good at it, and I have come to rely on them to initiate most of the time. It's probably selfish, but it's hard to fight your nature. Story 39. Posts like this make me feel fortunate that I am still friends with all my school, university, and assorted group of Londoners as a 30-year-old man. Story 40. If you have the time, family should come first. Try joining a hobby like an active league of some kind, such as bowling, kickball, or flag football. You will find people who have similar interests and a starting point, especially if you are new to the league. Most groups like these are happy to have new members and are very welcoming or easy to join. Good luck. I have talked about this with some of my male friends. Some of us joined a pool and billiards league and made more friends who joined us for college football games in the league's off-season. Feeling lonely is not an unusual experience. Most people experience it at some point in their lives. Story 41. I am 30 years old and have two close friends, both of whom I have known my entire life. I have a few other friends, but I rarely see them. Fewer friends are better. Story 42. I feel like I am in the same situation as you. Like you, I reach out a lot to my friends on social media, and some of them don't respond, but you are the spark that can ignite conversations. I think maybe if you reevaluate what friendships mean, you might feel better. I am lonely a lot, but I know I have great friends who I chat with and love hanging out with when they have the time. I think the busy lives people lead can make them less inclined to converse, but you have to focus on building yourself up by finding clubs and activities where you feel a sense of belonging. I think it might be beneficial to try to remove as much negativity about yourself as possible. Negative self-talk and thoughts will drag you down, so if you can feel upbeat and keep going out and doing things around like-minded people, that will help you feel better. I'm not sure if you live in the United Kingdom or not, but if you do, I highly recommend Andy's Man Club. It is a charity for men's mental health, and it is an extraordinary way to talk about innermost feelings surrounded by people who are going through similar problems. Story 43. I have my brothers, my wife, and my kids. That's enough friends for me. I have many occasional friends to do fun things with, but I really rely on my brothers for male bonding and my wife for everything else. Story 44. Same boat. 42 checking in. At some point in my 30s, it felt like I was the only one making the effort to reach out and be part of what they were doing. I stopped, and no one came looking, so I just accepted it. Part of me feels it has something to do with me, which is another thing I have to come to terms with. Story 45. Same for me. Great job, great partner, great hobbies with a lot of people to spend time with. But the so-called real or best friends, couldn't name one. Like you, I am always the one reaching out, the one making plans for what we could do. But most of the time, I see them on trips where no one asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. The more often this happens, the happier I am by myself, spending time on hobbies that make me happy without needing others around. It may sound strange, but with time, you learn how happy you can be with just yourself. The next step is looking forward to moments when you can enjoy time alone. Story 46. You should download Bumble and use Bumble Best Friends forever. I made two close friends in my 30s that way. Also, did your old friends. Story 47. I have never kept friends throughout my life. After moving away to college when I was 18, it has been very difficult to keep in touch with any friends because I have moved around so much and done new things. I have not talked to my friends from high school in years. Same with college. Everyone kind of just moved on in my life, and that is okay. Then I worked at a wildlife sanctuary a few years ago and made good friends with my supervisors and the other keepers. After that place closed down, everyone went their separate ways, and I have not spoken to anyone from there in over a year. I moved away from that area too. So at this point, I just do not care about having friends, and I do not bother trying to find more. Right now, what matters to me is my girlfriend and my daughter, who is due in December. Story 48. Wow, so this is normal? Judging from the comments, I worry about this myself. The insecurity of not having a real support system. If things go wrong, it's just me. If I want to do things, for the most part, you have to be solo. I'm 26. It's been okay, but looking toward the future, I believe that this issue will weigh more and more over time. I wonder if I am the problem in this situation, but if this is generally the norm, then that is concerning. And like you said, viewing other men from the outside, I wouldn't assume this to be the case since everyone seems fine. Story 49. I feel like nobody really knows me. I accept that. I don't feel like I can convey myself very well. I have lots of friends, but I don't think I have anyone who truly knows me. It doesn't bother me until I realize that I don't actually have anyone. There is one person, but I can only tolerate them in small doses. Story 50. You could try deepening the relationship. Spend time together and talk about various topics. My friends usually contact me for gaming because I am always free while they are not. However, we are catching up with each other and having fun when we are gaming. Story 51. I am alone as well. 40 years old. Had a few friends when I was younger, but the connections were not strong enough to maintain over time. Cannot lie. I do wish things were different, but life is still beautiful either way. I am grateful. Story 52. I can relate and find that women make much better friends than men. Sadly, men often feel like they need to adopt a manly persona rather than simply communicate as caring human beings. I also think the skills and effort required for friendship are not common anymore. People believe that social media is enough to maintain friendships. It is hard to meet people unless there is a reason to spend more time around them. Common suggestions include clubs and events. Where do you live? Story 53. You don't figure out why you don't have real friends. It is mostly to do with vulnerability and expressing your boundaries. Real friends respect your boundaries. Fake ones do not. Real friends hold space for your emotions. Fake ones do not. Story 54. Fine, since it is much better than having bad friends. I am just tired of the constant competition, nitpicking, and insulting banter between men. I just cannot be bothered anymore. Enjoying the sunshine and watching clouds in silence is better. Story 55. Is it safe to assume you have had this experience throughout your life, even when you were single? Because it sounds like you need a hobby that puts you in the presence of men on a consistent basis so you don't feel alone, even if it is just 2 beers every third Thursday after work. Story 56. Since emigrating, I do not have any male friends of my own. I have some through my wife's connections, but that is just our social circle. I do not really think about not having them, to be honest. Am I lonely? Perhaps, but only when I think about it. Some good hobbies tend to keep it from my mind. Story 57. If it feels like you are the one reaching out, try not reaching out. If they stay silent, drop them and move on. It seems that you are noticing a pattern with your friendships. They either fade out or stay shallow. This is a good opportunity to introspect. Is there anything I can change to attract more fulfilling friendships? You crave deeper and reliable connections. Why not become this person and start attracting these friendships? I recommend martial arts. Men are everywhere, and you can meet many potential friends who can become great friends. Remember, it all starts with you. You must lead with what you want. Do not wait for them to do it. Lastly, I do not recommend you live with this situation. Men need a brotherhood. That is an important source of masculine energy that will revitalize you. I am in a similar situation to you. Most of my friends I would not call friends. I am in the process of starting fresh and making new ones to form a tribe. People outgrow each other. There is always someone on the same vibe waiting to meet you. Story 58. Make the time to stay connected with friends. Find something social to do outside of the house at least once or twice a month. Have a hobby and see if you can socialize through it. I started teaching my hobby and obviously meet plenty of people doing so. Socializing takes work. It does not just happen. Story 59. If you are comfortable being platonic friends with a woman, I suggest considering that option if you know any. Male friends tend to be emotionally stunted and suppressed, making it difficult to take a normal friendship to something deeper with other men. All my closest friends are women, and our friendships are platonic. Story 60. I have 3 friends right now, my 3 sons. I am 50 years old and living my best life. Enough said. Story 61. Hello, I am a woman, so please disregard if you only want the male perspective. Power to you for recognizing and expressing this. I created a post recently about being the one maintaining friendships. The effort feels one-sided, and the depth I crave is lacking. It is a different context because I am a single migrant female, and most of my friends are far away or busy with their own families and careers. The best advice I received from Reddit and Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer was to branch out, build intentionally, and meet people where they are. Friendships for a reason and friendships for a season exist. Sometimes the people we want to connect with in a certain way are not willing or able to meet us that way, and that is okay. We just need to find our people elsewhere. They may not have the characteristics we are used to seeing in our friendships, but they are people who care and are willing to show up. For me, that is sometimes colleagues whom I have never met in person. We live in different countries, but we work closely together, so we often end up bonding one-on-one and becoming comfortable with each other. Or local couples who are significantly older and at a different stage in life. We met at an event or during our travels, and they make me feel seen. They show up if I plan a hangout, and they reciprocate as well. It is not friendship as I was used to in my early 30s, but it is definitely emotionally rewarding. I hope you find your humans who make you feel seen, in addition to the lovely family it sounds like you have. Story 62. About 5 years ago, my lifelong best friend took his own life. We had been friends since childhood, and over the last 12 years of his life, he was at my place pretty much every other weekend to hang out with me and my family. He was pretty much the only friend I had besides my wife. When he died, I realized that it is safe to say that until I die, I will never have a friend. The idea of making a friend as a middle-aged man is, well, let's be honest, it is ridiculous. I do not know why, but it is. This caused a lot of depression in me, which led to me drinking. Nearly 50 years old, and I never really drank, and the next thing I knew, I was going through bottles of whiskey every month. That lasted for about 3 years. I still drink on occasion, but I am not self-medicating with it like I was. As I said, it has been about 5 years since I realized I will never have a friend, but at least I have a wife and son, so I am not totally alone. If I were, I am not sure what I would do. Story 63. You cannot fill the void with others until you are whole without them. Those are not real friends. Value your family and your time. Maybe someday you will meet a valuable real friend. Story 64. Mate. 3 legitimate friends is 3 more than I have. I have lived my life very lonely with no close friends ever. I have no close friends from school, university, my previous marriage, or any of my workplaces in my life. Even in my new relationship, I have no close friends. I am intelligent, attractive, a great father, sociable, moderately funny, and love sports. I have always been lonely and just assume I always will be. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.